team, like your perfect bridal team, who are going to be the people who work best together. The same way coaches and what players were going to work well together, or a basketball team, same concept. These people are your team members for the wedding planning process. Hey everyone, it's your girl Mary Van Rose, and I want to say welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, welcome and thank you for clicking on this video. So if you're like me and you're planning a wedding, I know one of the most stressful parts can be choosing your bridal party. And for me, I have a lot of friends, and if you're watching this, it's probably because you have a lot of friends and a lot of family as well, and you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. My goal is, by the end of this video, not only will you know exactly who you want in your wedding party, you will feel really confident and good about your decision. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, or you can take notes on your phone, but we're going to go through each step together. Ready for the video? Let's go. So step number one, you want to write down every single person that you would really like to be a part of your bridal party. Write all the names down. Go ahead, write them out. Don't filter anything, because we're going to go through this list and we're going to filter it with the following questions. The first question, who knows the real you? Now let me explain this question a little bit. This question was inspired by something my husband said to me. When I was stressing about who do I put in my bridal party, he said, Mary, who are the people that when you say I'm okay, they know you are lying? And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because for some context, I recently lost my mom at that point in time, and I was just going through all the motions. So trying to plan a wedding while being a motherless bride, and me and my mom were super close. So it was very hard and very heavy. But it did make me reflect on her memorial service, her funeral. Who were the people who I said, hey, actually guys, I got this. No need to help me clean up, that actually stayed. And that was the first step to help me say, okay, who's the person that knows that on the wedding day, when I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm totally cool, I'm chill, I don't need any help. Who are the people who are going to be like, you're not chill, you're not okay, and that's okay. It's okay. They understood that I didn't have my mom, I didn't have other support systems there for me that I really wanted. Who were going to be the people who could fill in those gaps, who understood who I am as a person, who not only understood, but also currently understand who I am as a person. And you have to think about that too. But it's also about who you feel is going to know you well enough that if, God forbid, you forget something, that they'll pick it up for you, right? Because they know you so well that they can fill in the gaps for you on your wedding day, okay? That is the biggest key to really remember. Who can fill in the gaps because they know you so well. So who knows the real you? Start crossing off the people who you know you can never rely on in that way. Let's get to question number two. Can your bridesmaids handle the bridesmaid life? Okay, when I first thought about this question and how to pose it as you're looking through your list, I think it's easy when we write down the names to just be like, this are the people that we want. But can they handle it? And by handle it, it's not that they wouldn't want to be in your bridal party, because I know so many people who wanted to be in it, but let's be honest, the season of life that they were in, they just could not quite handle it. Because when you're a bridesmaid, there's a financial commitment, there's a physical commitment, there's an emotional commitment, there might even be a spiritual commitment depending on what type of wedding you're having. And it's not just about the wedding, it's about all the events that lead up to the wedding. There's the engagement party, there's the bridal shower, there may be like a bachelorette trip. Who are going to be the people who can help organize and support you in all these different areas and arenas? So if you have someone who just had a kid, or maybe they are in marriage season or planning themselves, that is something to consider. Not saying that they can automatically be crossed off because of those things, but that's something to keep in mind. So if you've asked someone to be in your bridal party and they have some hesitancy, it might be because they're in one of those seasons, and you shouldn't make them feel bad about that. And that's something that I took a lot of time with as I was going through my list, really considering where they were in their life. So just in case I did ask them, because I still felt maybe, you know, they were in a particular season, they still might want to be a part of it, I wouldn't have felt offended if they said no because they're in a particular season. So I think step number two is really being mindful of what your bridesmaids are currently going through in their own lives. And that might also help making narrowing it down a little easier. Are you ready for question number 3? Let's go. Our third question is, who are the bridesmaids that work well together? Okay, so our first question, just to reiterate, was who are the bridesmaids that know you the best or know the real you, aka who are the people who can pivot in a time of or moment of stress. They know you well enough to fill in the blanks. Number 2 are who are the bridesmaids that are in a season that they can handle being a bridesmaid, because life be lifing, as we already know. So you want to make sure you're choosing people who are going to be really good and prepared and ready to do all the things all the way up until the wedding and being really extra good on the wedding day. So number 3 is really key, because now that your list is getting shorter, it's like, okay, we have some really strong candidates now. How are these energies going to balance each other? This one was huge for me. This was probably the toughest question that I had to ask myself. You might actually want to make this question towards the tail end of your process, but for me, it was perfect right in the middle, because it just made things so much clearer. I said to myself, okay, which one of my bridesmaids is the most organized? Which one of my bridesmaids is the people person? The one that I know I could say, hey, can you check in on the groom's family and make sure everyone's okay? Then I asked myself, who is the bridesmaid who's creative and fun and can do all the planning and the sorting and the decor for like all these different events that we may be having? I started asking myself those questions, and then I asked myself on their personal personalities, like which one of my bridesmaids like wakes up early, who goes to bed late, like, because we're so close, I know that about them. So I knew how to partner them together. I knew how to position them. And for the record, for those of you who don't know, I didn't have just one maid of honor. I had 3 maid of honors, because my line was, when I came down to it and I got down to the final 3, I said to myself, it's really an honor for me to have these women stand beside me that particular day. It doesn't mean that other people aren't important to me, but these are the 3 women who really have rode for me in very difficult times. And I know the planning process in a wedding is beautiful, it's wonderful and amazing, but there are moments that are tough. And these women have also met each other before in the past, they've been around each other, and I always feel like smaller bridal parties are better. But that's also coming from a girl who didn't even want a bridal party. So I feel like smaller is better when it comes to dealing with multiple personalities. I would say a good bridal party is anywhere from 1 person to like maybe 6. I feel like 7 is kind of pushing it. But that's just my take on that. So really think about your bridesmaid personalities, how well they work together, their strengths, their weaknesses, and think of it almost like a team. Like if you were building out the perfect team, like your perfect bridal team, who are going to be the people who work best together? The same way coaches and different NFL teams, they think about what players were going to work well together, or a basketball team, same concept. These people are your team members for the wedding planning process. So think about that question long and hard. And if you're worried about hurting someone's feelings, well, question number 4 will definitely help you with that. Question number 4 is, who can I give special roles to, even if they're not in the bridal party? Well, this question, when I was formulating like my formula, I guess, on how do I want to go about taking people off the list, there were a couple of people that I realized were so significant to me, and they really were people who knew me, who have stood by my side in hard and tough situations, but I just felt like they couldn't truly, for whatever the various reasons, couldn't commit to actually being in the bridal party. I knew that they could contribute in other special ways, whether that was day of helping me get ready, whether that was, writing a piece of poetry, or maybe performing a bit, or singing, or doing something that I knew would make them, one, feel really, really special, because they are, and the other piece is that I'm now also having this really significant memory with this other person who was just equally important in my life. Now, I'm not saying you got to go through your list and every single person that doesn't make the cut to be in the bridal party has to do something special for your wedding, but it is something to take note of. Like, for example, real life example for me, I have a niece who I'm extremely close to. She's an adult, and we're only like 5 years apart, so we grew up being best friends, and I knew I needed her in a very special and a very particular way. So she was my extra special something blue. I have a picture of her. I'll insert her somewhere in here, but she was like kind of like my day of like go-to concierge, kind of all knowing day of coordinator. I did have a planner on site at the wedding. I did do a destination wedding, but I don't really know how myself or my girls, my bridal team would have done it without her. She really was the glue that kept me on track, kept me together, kept me calm. And it was such a significant moment for her and I. So although she technically wasn't in my bridal party, she still played such a huge role on my special day. And there was other people who did equally nice gestures that I'll never forget. So that's something to consider. Not everyone that plays a significant role on your wedding day has to be in the bridal party. Number 5. Now, number 5 is a good question that you don't just ask yourself, but in fact, you're going to go ahead and ask your partner. Question number 5 is, partner, insert their name, who do you think, based on the list that I have now, will be a really good addition to our bridal party, considering the people who will be on your side of the bridal party? That was one of the game changers for me. When I had my list, I came down to a couple of names and I was feeling a little insecure. I went to my partner and I asked, partner, and that time my fiance, what do I do? Because I have these many names and I know you only have 3 groomsmen. Which personalities do you think would also be really good for the groomsmen? Now, this might not be really huge for you depending on how you're structuring your bridal party. But for me, I really wanted people that I felt would be all good together. I knew that I wanted my girls to kind of walk down individually. I knew I wanted the guys to walk down individually, so they can each have their moment. And also because we did have a small bridal party, I didn't have a flower girl. I didn't have a ring bearer. I didn't have any of those things. So to stretch it out, I liked them walking down individually. But asking my fiance at the time, like, hey, like, what do you think, took a lot of pressure off of me, because he knew his groomsmen really well, and I started to get to know them at that point in time. So I'm like, okay, which personalities do I think are gonna work really good together? And asking your partner can save you some time, some stress, especially if they've been around your friends quite a bit, they've been around your family at this point quite a bit. They might even see some things that you don't see about their personalities. And again, that first question was based on what my fiance at the time, my now husband, recommended to me. So don't be afraid to ask your partner, what do they think about your bridal party? And I think the last question that you can ask yourself will definitely help give you the ultimate clarity. Are you guys ready for number 6? Let's get into it. The 6th and final question that you have to ask yourself is, how well do I trust my intuition and my gut instincts? When I tell you, this one is huge, because the previous question was, what does your partner think about your decision or the people that you have narrowed down to? But this question is really about you. Really about you understanding that those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. That's an old saying that I've heard many times before. And in the end, what it means is those who really love you understand that this is not an easy decision. Those who really love you will take it with a sense of honor that they're even going to the wedding. And if they can't make it to the wedding, they will still pour into you. They will still give you love, because that's what a good friend, that's what a true family member does, right? When someone is a part of the village, when someone's a part of your community, they want the best for you. And you have to want the best for you. So to wrap all these questions up as you went through step by step by step, trust your gut. If you're looking at a name right now and you're thinking, I don't know about this person. I just feel like their energy is going to throw things off. I just feel like they have too much going on in their life right now. Whatever it is, truly trust that. Pray on it, journal it out. And again, if you want to check in with your partner, you want to check in with someone else about their opinion on it, you could even write me if you want to. You could write it in the comment section. Hey, Mary, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z. What do you think about this person? But ultimately, it's really up to you, and trusting that you know yourself, you know what you need, you definitely know what you need for that day, you know your friends and family well enough, and you know who's going to be there to truly support you and your partner on this very special and sacred day. Well, that's all I got for you for this video. I hope you stay tuned for all the other videos that I have coming up in our wedding series. I also have some more wellness content dropping, just a bunch of things. I'm so excited to be back and pouring myself into my YouTube community and family. I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.